My name's Sue Vesely, and the title of my work is The Appointment. That's the one you can see behind me. There's another one in the show called Love Never Dies. Well, they're in the same genre. They're, as you can see, medium-sized figurative oil paintings. My work is a kind of a cross between Michelangelo and Francis Bacon with a little bit of De Chirico thrown in. So I've got my own technique, but I also use a lot of traditional techniques. Chiaroscuro, sfumato, cangante, and ulan. Everybody knows what chiaroscuro means. But sfumato, for those of you who haven't heard of it before, is soft edges. So the kind of aerial greyness that our eyes actually pick up on, the softening of edges as they get further away. And then cangante is actually not using different tones of colour, so not adding grey or black or whatever, but actually changing the colour to make shadow. And then the last one is a mixture of the last two with a few lines added. Basically, that's what I do. I paint from memory. I try to remember things and how they look. And the way that I remember them is a kind of a generic form of appearances. So I don't look at anything or have any natural reference. So it is purely from imagination. I start off with a big mess and kind of refine it a little bit, and then the story comes out to me. So I don't start off, it's not an illustration of a thought, it's just something that evolves out of what I see on the canvas. So who knows what the narrative will end up being? You just don't. And anyway, the narrative is just something to base your decisions on. So, and it's not real. So somebody could look at that picture and just think, that reminds me of a dream that I had. And if they have a completely different reading, then that's fine, because it's whatever the surface looks like to the person. Well, it's all oil paint on canvas for this kind of work. I make sculptures in a cowardly sort of way out of air drying clay, because you don't need any equipment. And I do printing, but very simple printing, monotypes, and a lot of drawing with charcoal, and a little bit of pencil drawing. But basically all my drawing is when I started painting and I'm drawing on the canvas, that's where my drawing is. And I don't make preparatory drawings. I make ones to sort out the bits I can't sort out on the canvas and then correct it. So, yes, so a bit of a range of stuff. But the materials that I use is only the best artist oil paint, because it's hard work using anything but that. Cotton duck canvas. I start in the studio by making the stretcher myself, stretch the canvas on it and prime it, and then proceed on to the messy bit with all the drawing. And the drawing element, I hope, comes through right to the end, because painting is only drawing with paint anyway. So that just continues on through, and I stop at some point. And I'm sticking to a few basic materials, just the oil paints, a little bit of linseed oil, a little bit of terps from coals, you don't need the fine stuff, and rags. Painting with rags quite a bit, because you're putting it on and then taking it off, and you just don't know really what you're going to get. If you know what you're going to get before you start, it's not painting. Because then you have a complete connection to the work and complete ownership. Nobody else has made that thing, because in the end of the day, it's an organic object. So apart from my statues, I get somebody to make the little plinths for them, because my metalwork skills aren't too bad, but I haven't got the equipment. But I just want complete ownership over the canvas until somebody buys it or throws it away. The figures I paint are in rooms or landscapes, and it's about how it feels to be in a space. So there may be like landscape in the background or a view through a window or something, but it's all about being in that room and being in that space. So I'm painting a situation where figures interact, and it's an experience that they're having, and they're connecting somehow through being in that same space. I'm painting situations and they're experiences that people have. In lockdown, we were all having very much the same experience. And in fact, I don't think we were disconnected at all in lockdown. I think we were more connected than ever because everybody was doing the same thing. Oh, yeah. Yeah. My studio's a big double garage. My house is quite small, so it's actually good for me to be able to get down there, out of the house, away from my husband. We don't see each other for a few hours a day. And it's quite a large space. It's a double garage, but it's been extended back. So I kind of have different areas in it. So all my work tools and everything are in one section. Then I have an art storage section, which is teaching materials from the past and kind of study sort of area where, you know, plan chest and all that kind of thing. And then I have a section with computers and stuff down there for all my reference, and it's a clean area. And then I have the area that I paint in, which is the most accessible one. And they're all, you know, probably 4 or 5 meters by 5 meters. So may not be that big actually, but you know, it's plenty room enough. And yeah, it's a good environment. I've got room in there for people to come in and visit, and I've got room to teach in there if I want to. Six hours a day, maybe. It depends because the light goes about 3:30, but I might hang out in there doing stuff on the computers, you know, the related stuff, till it gets good and dark. So maybe from about 10 in the morning till 5 would be an average day, yeah. I studied. I was at the Royal College of Art in London, and before that I was at Birmingham University, and before that I did a 2-year foundation course, so I was like a lifetime student. I dragged it out as long as I could, and then eventually got spat out at the other end, and been doing it ever since. Well, they can't take it off you. You know, whatever happens, you've always got that. It's not just security like that. You've always got a purpose in life. You've always got something to do, something to get on with. Despite, I mean, I'm past retirement age now, but I'm not going to stop doing it. So there's been no change for me, really. When I was at school, I was always the class artist right from when I was very small. So I thought I was an artist then. And it was only when I got to art college and failed the first year that I realised I probably wasn't. But I think I've just always thought that I was. That's my identity, that's my role. And it's been on and off. It's never straightforward for people practising art, but it's been going on since I was 28, I suppose, was when I finished college. Well, as I've just said, it's my role and my identity, but on top of that, really, I guess it's like the hardest thing that I do. So because it's the hardest thing, it's the thing I try hardest at. So it's the thing I focus on. So for that reason, it's also what I do best. And that's my contribution, doing something that I can do well. I suppose I just want to make something beautiful that people can relate to. I'm very passionate about the idea that people think that art is mysterious and that you have to have some kind of talent. I mean, it's 99% work and 1% talent, really. And it isn't magic, and it doesn't come out of ends of your fingers. And it's the product of thought process. So if you can think about one thing, you can think about another. Everybody's got a left and a right side to their brain. All that is irrelevant. If you want to do it, you can do it. Just find a good teacher